So this session will be trying to understand a top-down parsing, which is predictive parsing. So given with the grammar that represents the syntactic structure of each and every statement of the programming language, we'll be trying to construct a parsing table which will generalize all the productions that are given in the grammar. And with that parsing table, we'll be trying to check whether the statements that are written as part of the program by the developers should be accepted or should be rejected with the warnings or the syntactic errors, okay, to the user using the parsing method. Before getting in detail about this parsing technique and overview, actually it is a top-down parsing, meaning that we will start with the start symbol and trying to arrive at the word. Okay, and this parsing is otherwise called as predictive parsing, what we are going to see here, which is nothing but a non-recursive parser. So, meaning to say that if there are multiple productions available for a particular non-terminal, this predictive parser will automatically tell you which of the alternate has to be taken to proceed with. We don't need to take the first, and if it doesn't match, go back to the second or third. Rather, the predictive table which we are going to construct as part of this will automatically take care of that, and hence it is called as non-recursive predictive parser. And commonly these top-down parsers are called LL parsers. The first L as usual stands for left to right scanning of input. So whatever input we do have in the buffer will be scanned from left to right. The second L actually stands for leftmost derivation. So when you try to arrive at the word and when you keenly observe, you could see the leftmost derivation is the result of that. So that's the meaning. With the simple understanding, let's see what are the steps that are available. So first we have to eliminate left recursion. So the left recursion is like when you have a production of this kind, A gives A alpha, wherein the left non-terminal appears as the first symbol on the right non-terminal. See here what happens whenever you start deriving like this, always will end up with the same A. It will never end. It will go on recursively. And hence we should eliminate that left recursion. Doesn't mean this production has to be removed. There is a way to do that, which is discussed in the one of the video. You can see that. So that is left recursion. Second is left factoring. Suppose there exists a common prefix for two alternates. Let's say it is beta alpha 1 or beta alpha 2. This beta will be the common among the two alternates, and hence you can left factor, meaning that you can create a partition among the common alternate and the difference alternate, and hence that's what we call as left factoring. So these are the preliminary steps that we need to take, and a video is posted on this also. Once done with this, then we have to compute first and follow for all the non-terminals of the grammar. Again, there is a separate video on computation of first and follow. First represents the set of all symbols that could appear as the first symbol when you start deriving it. Follow represents the set of all symbols that can be followed after a particular symbol. The meaning itself tells that once it is computed, we can move on for constructing top-down parsing table, which is LL parsing table. So once done, we have to check whether the grammar is LL of grammar or not. Only if it is LL of grammar, you can proceed with the checking, or else you have to choose different grammar for or different parsing for doing this, parsing this particular grammar. Finally, if it is an LL grammar, we have to perform LL parsing. So these are the steps that we need to take while constructing a predictive parsing or while following a predictive parser. Let's move on to see each and every step with an example. Let's take this sample grammar having 4 productions and 2 non-terminals. Formally, if we want to define this, any grammar has to be formally defined. A grammar will have non-terminals, terminals, productions, and then start symbol. So what is V here? We do have 2 non-terminals S and L, and the set of terminals being A, left bracket, right bracket, and then comma. 4 terminals are there. And we have productions. S gives within bracket L, S gives A, L gives L comma S, and L gives S. Those are the productions. And what is the start symbol? Here, unless otherwise specified, the first leftmost symbol on the first production, which is S, will be the start symbol. Once formally defined with that, now we'll move on to check whether there exists a left recursion or not. Now come to S productions. Both the productions start with the terminal symbol, so there is no left recursion. Coming to L's productions, the production L gives L comma S starts with L. Okay, meaning that the leftmost symbol here L gives L comma S. So whatever symbol we do have on the left appears as the first symbol on the right, and hence we have to go for left recursion elimination. So the formula remains like this. When you have A gives A alpha or beta, where this is an alternate that starts with the same symbol and this is an alternate that doesn't start with that symbol, you can replace it by sequence of productions. A gives beta A dash, which is the alternate that doesn't start with the same symbol followed by a new non-terminal, and A dash gives, remove that recursive non-terminal and use the rest of the symbols followed by A dash or epsilon. So now the resultant grammar G dash will look like this. S gives within bracket L, S gives A will remain as it is because there is no left recursion. Now L gives, take the alternate that doesn't start with L. So it is S. Okay. Introduce a new non-terminal L dash, where L dash gives, you take the rest of the portion without L. So it is comma S. Add the same non-terminal to make it recursive. Okay. Introduce a new alternate called epsilon. So that's the grammar after eliminating your left recursion. With that, we move on for the next step, left factoring. Now check whether any of the alternates has a common prefix. S doesn't have, it's all different prefix. Here also we could not see common prefix because this starts with S and this starts with comma. And hence no left factoring is possible over here. Moving on to compute first and follow. So before computing first and follow, always we should have the practice to do elimination of left recursion and left factoring to make the grammar more proper. Now let us compute first of S, first of L, first of L dash. So when you compute first of L, both the S productions start with the terminal symbol, so no problem, left bracket A. Then come to L. What is first of L? It is the first symbol is S, and hence it is equal to first of S, which is again nothing but left bracket comma A. Already we have computed this. Now coming to first of L dash, there are two alternates for L dash. The first one starts with comma, second one starts with epsilon. So it will be comma epsilon. Coming to follow, follow of S, follow of L, follow of L dash, follow of S dollar. Fine. Now check whether, since S is a start symbol, we have included dollar. Check whether S is followed by any other symbol over here or not. Yes, it is. S is followed by L dash. Actually, if you look at L gives S L dash and L dash gives comma S L dash. In both the cases, S is followed by L dash. So what to do? You have to include first of L dash. Okay. What is first of L dash? It is nothing but comma and then epsilon. So if it contains epsilon, you have to check for the next symbol because that is also possible. Since we don't have any symbol, you have to go back and you have to add its follow. Okay. Hope the concept is clear. S is followed by L dash and hence we have to include first of L dash, which is nothing but comma and epsilon. Comma we will include, no problem. Epsilon is there. If epsilon is there, you check for the next symbol. Since we don't have any symbol over here, go to the left, add its follow. So union follow of L. Now what is follow of L? L is followed by it. L appears in only one position. So S gives within bracket L. Here L is followed by a terminal symbol with a closed bracket. That's all. Then again, what is follow of L dash? L dash is not being followed by any symbol in both the places. So you have to move back to the left and add its follow. So it will be equal to follow of L, which is again close bracket. So what will be follow of S? It is dollar, comma, and then close bracket. Now with that, we'll be trying to construct LL parsing table. So parsing table will look like this. You will have the non-terminals on the rows and you will have the terminal symbols along with the dollar in the columns. Now, how to fill up this parsing table? It's very simple. You take each and every production. So first, let us take S gives L. Check the first symbol. If it is a terminal, go to S comma left bracket. S comma left bracket. Add that. S gives L. That's all. Now, the second production is S gives A. Now check the first symbol. It is a terminal. So in S comma A, go and add the production. Now coming to L gives S L dash. What is the first symbol? It is capital S. When it is capital S, take first of capital S. What is first of capital S? Just go to the previous slide. You can check. It is left bracket and then A. Okay. So in L comma left bracket, we have to add L gives S L dash. In let L comma A, you have to add L gives S L dash. Fine. Now coming to fourth production. L dash gives comma S L dash. The first symbol is comma. So L dash comma comma, you have to add L dash gives comma S L dash. The last one is L dash gives epsilon. So since it is epsilon, first of epsilon is equal to epsilon. So as usual, when the first contains epsilon, you have to go back, add this production to follow of L dash. The same applies here too. If there exists an epsilon, along with this you have to go back and you have to add to follow of L also. Now coming here, since it is epsilon, move to the left, add this particular production to follow of L dash. So what is follow of L dash? It is close bracket. Okay, so in close bracket we have to write L dash gives epsilon. So this construction is pretty simple. Just you have to take each and every production, find out what is the first symbol. If it is a terminal, directly add it. If it is a non-terminal, take its first and then in all those symbols you add. If that first contains an epsilon, move to the left, add this production to the follow of that left symbol, which is nothing but the parent. So once having constructed this LL parsing table, next step is to check whether the grammar is LL or not. It's pretty simple. Just in all the cells, if there exists only one alternate or one production, we say it is LL grammar and hence it is LL grammar. Otherwise, if there exist two productions on the same cell, the system will get confused of which one to choose and hence it is not an LL grammar and hence we have to go for choosing some other parsers for this corresponding grammar. In this case, it is pretty quite well that it is an LL grammar. With this, we will move on to check whether the given word is accepted by this or not. We'll take the same word A comma A dollar. So always we have to start with the start symbol. Dollar is the end marker of the stack. Since this is top-down parsing, we are going to start with the start symbol S. Just check what is S comma. left bracket. So S gives L within bracket L is the production. So what to do? The top of the stack has to be replaced with this thing. Okay, so it looks like a push down automata, right? So pop out yes, replace this from right to left, because leftmost symbol is what we are going to map on the input buffer. So in the stack you will have close bracket L and then left bracket. The input buffer remains like the same. Now check what is on the stack top. It is the same on the input buffer. Since when both the symbols are there, you can map and then you can remove this left bracket, meaning the fact that we have seen a left bracket in the syntax. Now after having seen this, we have to move on for the next one. So now what is on the top of the stack? It is L, capital L. And what's on the input buffer? It is A. So what is L comma A? It is, I'll write it here again. So we'll be left out with this. Now L comma A, it is L gives yes L dash. Again remove L, push in this. So dollar close bracket will remain. So we have to push in from right to left. So L dash and then yes will remain. And the input buffer will not change because A is not what is on the top of the stack. Now that yes comma A is what we have to check. It is the production. Yes gives A. Yes comma A, it is yes gives A. So we have to replace this, pop out this yes, push in A onto the stack. So it will remain like this. Now you could see the symbol on the top of the stack is equivalent to the input buffer, and hence you can remove the next input symbol A. Okay, and hence it is the meaning that if this is your input word, okay, A comma A is your input word, these two symbols are what we have seen on your derivation. So dollar close bracket L dash will remain, and onto the stack you will have comma A close bracket dollar on the input buffer. Now L dash comma you will get this alternate. So L dash gives comma yes L dash. So pop out L dash, push in all these things. So it will have L dash yes comma, and here also we'll have comma A close bracket dollar. So here also dollar comma is there, here also comma is there. So this comma is also we have seen on the leftmost derivation. So we can remove comma. So we will be left out with close bracket L dash S. And here A close bracket dollar. And now what is S comma A? Again the same. It is S gives A. So replace close bracket L dash A. So we'll have close bracket dollar. Then the same symbol A is there. So in this input we have seen till this part as of now. So remove A, dollar close bracket L dash, and you'll be left out with close bracket and dollar. What is an L dash comma? It is epsilon. Just it is L dash gives epsilon. What does it mean? You have to pop out L dash. That's the meaning. So we'll be left out with dollar close bracket dollar. See, the same symbol is on the top, and hence you have to remove close bracket. So all the symbols we have seen. Now we'll be left out with dollar and dollar, meaning that all the symbols are mapped in your derivation, and hence you have to accept. Yes, you can understand. Let me quickly take you through another example. So this is the given grammar. Is there any left recursion over here? Yes, production doesn't start with S. L production doesn't start with L. R's production start with L, but if you substitute the alternates for L, again also it starts with terminal, and hence no left recursion is there. Fine. We'll move on to check whether left factoring is there. Is there any left factoring? Is any of the prefix? See, yes, production both starts with different. One starts with L, another starts with R. L also it's different, R also it's different, and hence no left factoring. Then computation of first and follow. First of S equal to first of L union first of R. Okay, because both starts with the non-terminal. Then coming to first of L, so both of its production starts with terminal, and hence it will be star comma ID. Then comes first of R, which is equal to first of L, which is nothing but star comma ID. And hence what is first of S? It is also star comma ID. Coming to follow of S, since it is a start symbol, include dollar. In no other production we have S on the right hand side. That's it. Follow of L. So L is followed by equal to over here. Okay. Along with that, here if you see in the last production, L is not followed by any symbol, and hence you have to include follow of R, which is its parent. Now coming to follow of R. Okay. What is follow of R? In three places R is there. In one place its parent is L. In two other places its parent is S. So follow of L union follow of S. So what is follow of R? Equal to dollar. So what is this? Here also it will be equal to dollar. I hope this is clear. Follow of L is equal to follow of S is dollar, and hence I have replaced here. Okay. Now coming to construction of LL parsing table. It's pretty simple, as we know. S gives L equal to R. The first symbol is a non-terminal, so include its first. So what is first of L? It's all its first are star comma ID. Okay, so S comma star, right? S gives L equal to R. Then S comma ID. S gives L equal to R. Then coming to S gives R. Okay, S gives R. So what is R? It is a non-terminal, and hence you have to go right in star R. Okay, so S gives star, again you will have S gives R, and in the next S gives ID, S comma ID also will get S gives R. I hope this is clear, because S has two alternates, which one starts with L, another starts with R. Both of its first, if you take, it is star comma ID. So the position will look like this. Then coming to L comma star, since it starts with the terminal symbol, it will be like this. Then L gives ID, it will be like this. Then R gives L. L is a non-terminal, so first of L you have to use. So R comma star, it will be R gives L. R comma ID, it will be R gives L. Now you check whether this is an LL grammar or not. See, look at here in this corresponding cells. Whenever you have S on the top of the stack, star on your input buffer, the system will get confused on whether to choose this alternate or this alternate. Multiple entries in the cells of the parsing table. This is not an LL gram. Hence we cannot proceed with LL parsing.